How's it going, everyone? It's Alex with AC Flips. I'm doing another episode in the series, Would You Buy This? And I have a guest, Noelle. Thanks for joining the video today.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So like you've seen in some of my other videos on this series, we're going to let the audience have a chance to analyze the products. And then Noelle and I are going to go into the product, break it down, and determine if we would buy this for our Amazon business or not. And you guys can kind of play along and do your analysis with us. So without further ado, let's jump into that first product. All right, so for our first product, we have some ink cartridges. Pause the video, analyze the data, and determine if you would buy this for your Amazon business or not. All right, so our first product here, we have some ink cartridges. It's a 2-pack. First thing I'm noticing, it's a variation listing, so we'll want to look into that. Let's take a look at the seller amp data here. We have 71K rank in office products, saying we have an estimated sales of 40 sales a month. One thing I like to check if I'm not super familiar with a category, I don't source a ton of office products, so I'm not super familiar with, how well ranks, how fast products sell at current ranks. So we can look at, Jungle Scout, which is free. You just type in your rank there. We had 71,000, and we're looking at the office category. So here it's telling us we're actually could sell up to 60 products a month. So the 40 might be a small estimate. It's just, good to confirm that that's actually correct, because it is a variation listing. We want to make sure that, we have a good idea of how many times this specific variation could sell. Again, the 40 or 60 from Jungle Scout is the estimate on the entire listing, not just the specific variations. So something to keep in mind. We have a hypothetical buy cost of 65, which puts us at 37 profit, 57% ROI. Overall, that looks pretty solid. So let's take a look at Keepa and make sure that everything checks out here. So now we have the Keepa chart here. Over the last 3 months, price looks pretty consistent. I mean, we don't see really anything below like 128, maybe 127. We see a few dips there, but it's pretty consistent over the last 3 months. If we zoom out to a year, I mean, this thing is a pretty solid product. We don't see all that much change in the seller rank either. It's kind of, you could basically draw a straight line, or the buy box draws a straight line right through the center of that sales rank, which is kind of right around that, 80 to 100K, somewhere in that range. As of recently, we can kind of also draw a line, anywhere from that, 70 to 80K. So hopefully the sales estimate is pretty accurate. If we look into the variations quick, we can see how often this 2-pack sells. So it is the higher selling of the two, 55% of the ratings. So this one sells a little bit more. So if we really wanted to get technical about it, we could see that of the total listing getting 60 sales a month, maybe this one gets a little around 30 sales a month. So then we can look at the data and the offers tab. What we're seeing here is that kind of some of this data, right? We don't want to just completely trust this data as the only data to make our decision. Some of these spikes in this, stock history could be related to FC transfers. So it looks like, when there isn't those big spikes, we are seeing a drop in their stock count. So this seller is selling some. We do see other sellers with stock and with sales. So we do know that it's not just one seller getting all the sales. It is distributed between other sellers. So we could potentially see, sell at least 3 of these a month. We could sell maybe up to 12, depending on how much stock we have. We can see this seller has 27 in stock, has sold 12 of them in the last 30 days. They've sold a good amount, in their lifetime. So, all this data helps us piece together whether or not we would want to buy this fully or do a test order. We can see that, again, if we think this thing could sell 30 times a month, this specific variation, it wouldn't hurt to scroll down and see how many offers currently are competitively priced, and how much share we think we could get of this. So we can see, maybe everybody under in that 120 range is going to get, is competitively priced and has a chance at the buy box share. So if we're like the 7th competitively priced seller, we could sell anywhere from, depending on how much buy box share we're able to get, we could probably sell anywhere from 3 to 10 sales a month. And again, this product is giving us, $37 profit. So even selling 3 of these is going to give us over $100 profit per month on one item. So with all that data, I think this would be something I would do a test buy of for my Amazon business.
Yeah, I would definitely buy this item. Also, if you go into data, if you go into that data tab, and you go back to, the offers, and you hit include historical. And then, because that guy who's at the very top that was having like those stock issues, I just noticed he's not FBA. So you can really like bluff your inventory to make it look like one thing. So if you click on the Prime button, it's going to actually show you a more accurate of like how much is selling through on Prime, the 23. It's a lot harder to like bluff those numbers because Amazon's accounting for them versus FBM. You could say you have 1,000 in stock to try to get buy box. When really you only have maybe 50 in hand, and then you just like cancel it. Like they may be manually adjusting their price so they don't actually sell out. But some people do play that game because the more inventory you have, the better chance you get buy box, even being FBM. So they could be bluffing those numbers, where FBA, it's a lot harder to do that.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great point. And again, we still see all these other FBA sellers still getting a couple sales. So again, something you can test buy. You buy 3 of them, 5 of them. And see how quickly those sell. If you can sell all 5 in like 2 weeks, then maybe it's worth, bumping up and doing 10 to sell, have 30 days worth of stock, and selling 10 of them in a month is going to net you, over $350 profit in 1 month on one product. That's a pretty good start.
All right, so the next product we're going to look at is the Burnt Bees Night Cream. So go ahead and pause the video and determine if you're going to buy this, and then we're going to review over it. All right, so looking here, we see that the cost price is going to be $29. Sale price currently is at $55. Profits giving us $13.53 with an ROI of about 47. We can see right here that this is going to be a variation listing, so we're going to want to look into that as we go down. So right now everything looks good, so we're going to go ahead and jump into Keepa and verify that this is actually selling for this price at the velocity that we needed to. All right, so now looking at Keepa, this looks pretty solid for 3 months. I mean, it really hasn't changed. It's going down just like by a couple bucks, but offer count isn't doing anything crazy. People are selling in and out of it. I always like to check the year, because sometimes the 3 months can look really good, but if you go back a year, you see that's actually like half the price is what it was selling for. So I always just like to confirm looking at the year. We see it was even selling for a higher in December at $90. And then we kind of see the low was around $49. So it's about $5 less, but even with $5 less, if it ever went back down to $49, we're still making $6-7 profit. So looking at that, this is already looking good. Again, offer count, we can see that the highest it was at 20. I like to look at this because this kind of tells me what is the offer currently at versus what was the highest it's ever been at, and was that price stable at that offer count. So I can see here the highest it went was 20, and it was at $59.99, and we're only at 17 right now, and it's at 55. So that's about $5 less. So that looks fine with me. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the data. And something I just like to confirm for product details is just kind of looking currently at like the sales rank, making sure that it's kind of staying consistent. If I see that it just keeps increasing, there may be a new product on the market, so maybe people aren't buying this one anymore because there's a newer version out. So I just like to quickly look at this. I also like to look at the buy box, current 90 and 180. Again, I'm just looking for like the stability of it. Just confirming what I'm looking at on the Keepa chart matches what's actually in the detail section and the data. We're going to be sending this to FBA. So again, we're looking, the high was 66, but currently it's at 55. And then again, you can look at the offer count below, and we see that there's no crazy increase in sellers. So we can see that this is staying stable around the 15, probably to 20 sellers. No more have really jumped on this. Next, we're going to go over to the buy box. And so we just want to make sure we can actually get a piece of the buy box. We do have one seller, about 50%. So we know that 50% of these sales are most likely going to this guy. And then we got 20, 21 over here. So that's a slightly concerning. So this is already going to tell me my test buy is going to be maybe 5 or less, just because they're kind of taking a huge chunk. They're taking 90% just between these 3 sellers. So I just want to make sure I can actually get in and sell some products before. If I were to buy 5 of these, that's a lot of money, especially if you're a new seller. So you don't want to end up buying 20 thinking you could sell 20, and really you're only going to get like 3% of the buy box and maybe only sell 3 a month. And now you have like 3 months stock. So that's something to keep in mind. I also like to go to the offer tab and hit include historical offers and look at the prime. So we see that we have a total stock of 57. it sold 64 potentially in the last 30 days. So that's something I would, the stock limit is almost the same as the demand. So that's something I also take into account. So again, this would confirm I'm only buying maybe 3 to 5 of these to test out to see if I can actually sell through them within a month's time frame and then replenish off that. Last thing we want to do is check the variation. And this is the highest selling one. So it has 21% of those sales that Seller Amp may be saying. This is how much is selling, 21% of that. So that looks good. The ratings, 570, like this thing's definitely selling. We can confirm that. Versus if we were looking at this product, they're only getting 3%. So you would just want to take that into account of how many you're going to purchase to test. But just looking at all that stuff, I would be purchasing 3 to 5 of these and sending them into FBA and just seeing how they do.
So looking, one thing I noticed when you were analyzing this, the price history here is that increase in December. Is this some product you would probably track? Like, is there a way you're going to track this maybe around Q4 where this could be a really nice, high ROI product that moves pretty quickly?
Yeah, you could definitely, this is something you could put on. Something you should always do is be creating different type of spreadsheets of maybe they're out of stock items or, even like discontinued, or maybe something like Q4 purchases to keep track of this. So that way you don't forget this thing. And sometimes you have, if this was a toy, for instance, and it was selling for $30, but you could see in December it sells for like 60, 70. Well, maybe this is an item you want to come back to sell in Q4, but it's not worth it to sell now. I would just put this on like some type of spreadsheet list of saying, okay, hey, I'm going to check this back in Q4 to see if I can jump on and make this sale when it's so inflated and there's just limited supply of it.
And a lot of times the prices, at that time, like Black Friday sales, you might find this product the cheapest out of any other time of the year. So could be the most profitable chance for this too. So yeah, definitely track this in the future if you are looking for some nice Q4 leads.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, for our third product, we have some Aussie shampoo conditioner combo. Pause the video, analyze the data, and determine if you would buy this for your business or not. All right, so we see this is kind of a combo pack here. Large bottles, 30 ounce each, but we can see that it sells pretty often. This is a 23K rank, which is really solid in the beauty category. We're getting this for $10, 26, sale price. The ROI and profit, $2, 21% ROI. Could be higher, but at least we're profitable here. At this ROI and profit, we just want to make sure that, the chart looks great. So we know that we can, consistently get a $2 profit. If we think the price could drop, and then this profit goes to a break even in the near future because a lot of others are finding this on some sort of sale, then maybe it's not worth purchasing. So let's take a look at that Keep It chart. All right, so one thing I'm noticing is this offer count increase as of pretty recently. In the last month or two, we were sitting pretty consistently around 20 offers or less. Now we're creeping up towards 50 offers, which we should expect some sort of price decrease, which is exactly what happened. The price was sitting fairly consistently above $30, and now the price is sitting around, $26, $26.50. So one other thing that I'm noticing is that if you go back not too far, right, the 3 months sometimes doesn't paint the entire picture because we need more data on what happens to the price as the offer count moves. So if we go back a year, we can see that actually pretty consistently, this thing has seen a $20, $21 price point. And then, obviously when the offer count goes down, the price is able to go back up. But now that we see this high offer count, in the past, with the offer count not even going that high, we saw a price at $21. Back in last summer, we saw the price at $21. If we want to zoom out even further, again, we can see that the price does go to that $21 a couple different times. So definitely something to think about here. Okay, so now we're going to go to the data tab, offers, and just see, try to get a little bit more information to see if this is worth purchasing. So it looks like people are selling this quite often. A bunch of different sellers are getting the share. Again, if we want to look at just prime sellers, or if we want to include historical, a lot of times like including the historical actually gives you a good sense of how often people are selling. And if sellers sold a lot and then they're off the listing, which just means that they sold out of their stock, an even better sign that this product is selling for them. So we can see that a bunch of different sellers are getting a good amount of sales. So maybe that 23K rank, 500 sales a month is a little bit on the low estimate. But right now at our current price, right, we don't really know what price these people are buying at. So maybe they're getting a little bit higher ROI, which is why they're able to keep so many in stock and not be afraid of this thing dropping. Because if we type in that $21, right, that we've seen in the past, now we're losing $2 on this product. So currently at $26.30, the break even's only $3 away, so we don't have a ton of margin to work with here. If we were able to get this, say, on sale, right, if we were getting it for 10, maybe there's a 20% off coupon to put us at $8. Now we're looking at $4, 51%. We have a lot more room to go down to still be profitable on this product. So at the current state of the product, when we're getting this for $10, probably something I would pass up on. But again, we talked about in the last product, creating lists or certain spreadsheets that have products that are close, that might just need a little bit extra boost in the margin, or that, have different seasonality to it. This is one product that I would probably put on the list to look into if you ever find a discount for, these products on the site you were looking at. And if we can get a little bit lower than $10, maybe it's worth doing a test buy, or at least getting into a little bit.
I would also note, looking at Keepa, if you look at Keepa there and Amazon, you can see Amazon was in stock like really randomly, kind of like mid-January, February at 42, but you can see that they're in stock in October for like, if you go over to the left, you can kind of see they're like at 22, 21. So you want to make sure that if Amazon does come back in at that price, can you like price match them? Can you compete with them? Even though they're really not on that much, that's not a huge worry, but that's also something to take note. If you ever see Amazon on a listing, look at what their lowest price was, because if they ever came back in with like, 60, 90 days of supply, could you match them and be able to sell at that price? Or are you now holding all that inventory, just hoping that they sell out? So just make sure you always kind of like take note of when you see Amazon on a listing, because that just kind of increases your risk factor as well.
Yep. And you want to pay attention to like what happens when Amazon is on the listing too. We see this thing is pretty consistently, for a few months sitting at 27 all the way down to 25. As soon as Amazon jumps on, we're immediately down to that $21, $22, and it doesn't really recover back up to 25. We're looking at October all the way to the beginning of December is when we finally start to see that price increase again. So if you bought a bunch of stock and you're maybe holding out, hoping that the price is going to go back up, this thing took almost 3 months just to get back to, a price that was a little bit more profitable. So yeah, definitely a little bit extra risk in a product like this, which is why maybe I just want to see a little bit higher margin to help mitigate some of the other risks involved.
Okay, so the next product we're going to do is Donna's Recipe, a hair cream. So go ahead and pause the video and determine if you're going to buy this for your Amazon business. All right, so looking at this product right now, we see that our cost price is 15, selling currently at 29 is the buy box. Profit's going to be 523, ROI is about 35. We can see BSR is 39K, which I'm happy with. Anything really under 50K, I know is most likely fast moving. We see the estimated sales is 231. Something that I do see automatically on SellerAmp is that the lowest FBA offer is currently 26.30. So even though buy box is showing 29, that already kind of concerns me that it's 26.30. So I would go ahead and just click on that. We still see we make a profit. I go as low as 15% ROI. So for me, that still looks fine to me. And we're almost at $3, which is my minimum. So we're going to go ahead and look into Keepa and make sure that this price is going to stay at that price. And there's no risk factors showing that this may actually tank. All right, so now looking at Keepa, first thing I noticed is that this is a very new listing. 42 days this has been on the market, and we're already at 112 sellers. So that already is a huge red flag for me, that it's increased that much in 42 days. So maybe this was shared somewhere. Way too many people know about this product for it being 42 days. We see that it was at 37, and as the offer count rised, it just went down all the way to 26 currently is the lowest offer, versus the 38 it started at less than a month ago. So this is already a really red flag for me. Almost immediately, I wouldn't look too much into this. After seeing this, this would be something maybe I would put in a list of saying, hey, go ahead and check this later, because even though it's still profitable now and you could make money, by the time you send it into FBA, it may take 3 to 4 weeks to actually become available to the customer. Another 20, 30 people could hop on this, and now the price is at $19 and you're losing money. So that's definitely, like, this is a huge red flag. Like, top 3 of I'm not even going to mess with this at this moment. This is putting on a list and I'm checking back later. But we're going to still continue to look at kind of what we're seeing and maybe some other risk factors. So I can see the sales rank is solid. Like this thing is selling for sure. Like this is a great product if you can actually sell it at a cost or a price that makes profit. So let's go ahead and go into the data. So we're going to go into the offer tab. So I'm going to hit include historical. And again, I always look at prime because that's what I'm doing, right? If I was doing FBM, maybe this is something you'd want to take into account. Okay, can I sell this FBM? Who are my competitors? But since I mainly do prime, this is what I'm going to be looking at. So I see that it's potentially sold 234 in the last month, and stock total is 333. So we see that there's an overabundance of stock versus how much demand currently. And we see that the price is already dropping. So to see that this stock is way higher than the demand currently, that's going to lead to price tanking because everybody's going to start matching the buy box. And then people will drop it trying to get the buy box. And that's how tanking happens. People just want to rush and get their products out the door. They don't want to wait and compete with, 100 other sellers. So this is a second red flag that I'm not going to jump into this right now. There's just too much risk factor of not being able to actually sell it at the price I want. I'm going to go ahead and check buy box statistics. So we also see this person is selling 42% and they're actually FBM. So that's surprising that this FBM offer is actually getting this much of the stock when there's so much FBA stock available. So this is something that you could, if you wanted to jump on this listing right now, I would do FBM. If these people are able to get this FBM, that may be your only chance just in case it does tank. Well, now you're not holding it into an FBA fulfillment center and now you're paying storage fees on top of it. You may be able to scoop in as FBM, sell some, and then get out before it really tanked. And that's pretty much all I would look into this one because I'm already know in my head I'm not going to buy this just off those factors I said in the beginning, and then even confirming here, I would not send this product in FBA. If you're thinking about doing it, it would be an FBM, get in and out, but I would not risk the weight factor in FBA.
Is there any scenario, I guess, what would have to happen to this listing for you to even consider it again? Like, let's say a couple months down the line, what would you want to see in this chart for it to be worth looking into again?
If I put this on a list, what I would do, I would be watching this offer count because this, the velocity of this is great. It's just way too many people are on it currently. It's to have 113 offers on really any listing, that's a lot of people. And even during Q4, the most popular toy may have close to 200. So the fact that this is already 50% of the way there, that's a pretty concerning thing, especially with beauty. You'll see that a lot. A lot of people just hop on the same beauty products. Maybe this was on sale or whatever it could be. But I would probably say once this offer count hits half of what it is now, and I see that trend is still going down, that would be a time I would probably do a test buy and buy some and send them in. But this offer count would have to probably come down half of what it is now. Show it going down and the price is going back to being stable. That would be the first thing. What about you? What would make it for you?
I mean, it's basically the same for me. This product, just is I think the FBM sellers are maybe getting the buy box share because they can offer maybe a lot of these products, people found it and they're stuck in FC transfers. So their ship times are slow. So, maybe some of those FBM sellers are actually able to get the sale, but this is just way too risky for me. Again, I'd like to see the offer count drop. I'd like to see the price stabilize for more than a week. I mean, even like I said, you'll see offer count maybe level out and then all of a sudden it shoots back up because FC transfer kicked in for 15 or 20 other sellers. And then all of a sudden, the price goes down again. So I'd like to see way more stability. And again, this listing is so early on that we just don't even have any history on stability. So yeah, I'd have to see a lot more stability or at least decrease in offer count, increase in price for me to feel comfortable buying something like this.
Yeah, I would wait safe. I would wait until it hits the 3-month mark of being on the market to see how it does. And if the offer count goes down or if it stays at that, that would be something I'd look at too. Cause it is really new. So unless you know the brand itself and you know how well the brand does, just jumping on this new listing like this, a lot of times I see they always start high, right? Because no one knows about it. and then it gets out, people find it, and then that's when the price drops to actually like market value, because now everybody knows about it. So yeah, that's something to keep track of. But yeah, this offer count is like huge red flag.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I didn't even really pay attention to this. And I bought a lot of products that looked good. And then by the time they got in, they tanked. And I was like, why did they tank? Like, what did I miss? And it was always the offer count was just like, it was there in front of my face. I just never looked at it.
Yep. Yeah, it's super important, especially on a listing like this. So, all right. So there was our breakdown of the 4 products. Hopefully you guys, got all 4 right, followed along really well, and did your analysis correctly. Noelle, thanks for joining the video today. Where can people watch your content?
Yeah, I had fun doing this. You guys can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter at Cona_reselling, where I give all different types of tips for Amazon.
Awesome. Yeah. If you guys found this video helpful, subscribe to both our channels, go follow Noelle on all our socials, and see you in the next video.